Hello. We just have a good day today.
It is a good day. It's snowing out. I don't think. Can you see it behind us? The snow.
Let's see if we can it's a good it's snowing a lot, so we thought it's a good time to do video. Let's see. Can you see all that snow that we have? It's getting dark actually, so hopefully you could see it's so beautiful outside right
Yeah,
now.
Narnia-ish. But the reason why we're making this video is to talk about translation. With so many translations in English, um, there are people who are saying that most of them are corrupt. I mean, how could you have 50, 60 different translations and have all of them accurate?
Yeah, there is some, especially when they compare new translations with King James translation. That's what I'm facing, and I thought, you know what, I cannot go on everywhere and try to explain people, but I thought maybe we can make some short video. Hopefully, it will be short video, and give glimpse to people what happens, how the translation is done. So before they jump into judging that the translation is corrupted. So there's a reason why the translations like NLT, NIV, they really don't have some verses that are in King James
Right.
in the text.
What happened to those verses? Where did they go?
Yeah. Yeah. For example, like in First John, it says, and these three are the witnesses, and water, spirit, and what's that?
Blood.
But then in King James, it has another verse that is not in nowadays translations, because in 1946, after that, uh, many manuscripts were found. Like one is Leningrad Code, and especially the manuscripts of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay, so basically in the old times, people would have to copy the Bible over and over again. The books wouldn't stay, so we have these manuscripts floating around or buried or wherever they are.
Yeah, we have the manuscripts that actually now, after 1940s, we got manuscripts, they dated to the earlier manuscripts that were used when King James was translated. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so now we have copies that are closer to the original.
Exactly. So therefore, we follow the copies that are closer to the original. And what happens, we realize that if some verses are not there, for example, another example, when I believe it's in Matthew, when Jesus says that this type of evil spirit can be cast out by prayer in the earlier manuscript. But in King James, it's by prayer and fasting. So there's the word fasting. So what we do with that, we understand that probably along the history of the church, they realize that, oh, fasting, it's a good practice. We know that it's helpful. And it was probably commentary in some of the scriptures, so copies. So it came to the later copies, but it does not exist in the early copies. So therefore, it's not that new translations are corrupted, but they follow more ancient text.
Well, what are some of the rules that people use when they're making a translation? How do you get the text, because it would be in Hebrew or in Greek, into another language like English or Tajik, and do it right?
So we promised that we will give some glimpse. So what is important as a translator in the whole team of translators, we follow four principles. So four principles. Number one is the translated text should be accurate to the original text. So principle number two, it should be clear. It should not be blurry. People read and have no clue what's going on.
Right.
Number three, it should be natural. It should be like the way people speak in their own mother language. And not like, what was the guy in Star Wars who spoke totally wrong English?
Oh, Yoda.
Yeah, not like that. Anyway, and principle number four, it should be acceptable.
So what does it mean? What to be accurate? in
Yeah.
translating.
So to be accurate, right?
Yeah.
So today, when we translate, for example, if we translate and we look at the Hebrew text for the Old Testament or Greek text for the New Testament, and the word comes Nazareth. And the audience of today, the language that, for example, I'm translating, they have no clue what is that. Is it a mountain? Is it a river? Nazareth. So to make it accurate to the text, we keep Nazareth and we can write that it is city of Nazareth or town of Nazareth. So are we accurate? Did we change the meaning of the text?
No, you're clarifying the meaning.
We stay accurate.
Mhm.
So so we check that there's no any word that can change the meaning is added. And we check that no word that impacts the meaning is missing in the translation.
Okay. How does that differ from making the translation clear?
Yeah. Well, you know what? With the accurate also, there's another aspect of that.
Mhm.
Do you know that in Hebrew text, the prophecy in Isaiah, it says, and the girl will give birth. But when it was translated into Greek, Septuagint, they translated virgin. Why? Why it was not just a girl? Because we need to take into consideration the culture. So if girl in Israeli culture means different than girl in Greek culture, they need to come up with something that is in the meaning, not the word, not the lexicon, but in the meaning close to the word.
Mhm.
So that is we call accurate, not this have word by word, but we see what that word means in Israeli culture, in ancient Israeli culture, and what it means in a current today's culture, in that language that we're translating. So that we consider accurate. Mhm.
Clear. So what does it mean? I understand
So-
accurate, but now is clear something different? It sounds like if it's accurate, it should be pretty clear.
Yeah, so accurate, clear, for example, also we do, as I said, that we clarify if it's a city, mountain, river.
Mhm.
So we just add, so the people who don't know the geography of Israel will know about it.
Mhm.
Another thing is that, for example, the language that I work, they do not have he, she pronouns. It's one pronoun for both genders. Okay. So if the story is happening, and in English they will say, he did, and she did, and he did, and she did. And guess that the language does not have it, and it's all it did it. So it's not clear. So therefore, in the translation, we can add good names.
You specify the pronoun.
We specify the pronouns, make it clear who is doing what. Even in the probably in the original language, they do not have that name in that verse, but we will put so that it clear who is doing the action.
So in the original, there was a pronoun there, but the reader knew the antecedent, knew what the pronoun was talking about. In
Yeah.
English, it's not so clear, so you clarify it by writing the person
Yeah,
who did it.
exactly. Okay. Using the name of the person.
Mhm.
So another, for example, how we clear, like in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 7, it says that they were buried, they went in and out of the holy place. And you just like have no idea what it means. They buried, but they went in and they went out. So many translations, they will say they were buried, and then say, but those who used to go in and go out. So they make the right like the order of events we need to clarify in our language.
Mhm.
Or so this is the way we make it clear. Okay?
Okay.
Is it a little bit
It's clearer now.
it's clear? Good.
How do you make how to make the scripture sound natural? You do.
Yeah, so what is the things we need to pay attention, right? Of course, first of all, it's idiomatic expressions. So idiomatic expressions, totally. It's like for example, in Hebrew, it can say that God raised his hand, right, upon somebody. So in the meaning that God his hand over somebody, it's a blessing, it's a good thing. But in my language, if we say that he raised his hand, it's mean like he is ready to hit the person.
Right, he put his hands on somebody. If you put your hands on somebody in
Yeah,
English,
so yeah, his hand upon us, it's a good thing in a biblical way.
uh-huh.
But in some languages, it means like on the contrary, he's bidding them. So we need to understand the concept and use this concept we need to translate and not idiomatic expression. So that
Yeah,
will
you can
be
get pretty far from accurate if you translate idiomatic expressions word for
literal,
word.
yeah.
Literally.
Or another thing, like for example, very interesting phenomenal. It's a pair of words. For example, in English, you would say man and woman. Am I correct?
Okay,
Okay, black and white.
right,
Usually, you don't say white and black. You say black and white.
okay.
If you have
Heaven and
word
earth.
heaven and earth, what else? If you have old and young, do you say young and old, or do you say old and young?
Usually young and old.
Young and old. Okay, how about you have word night and you have word day? What is the order?
Day and night.
You say day and night. This is a natural way you say, but
Mhm.
if you hear somebody saying like, "Oh, it was white and black," it will already like think,
Doesn't sound natural.
it doesn't sound natural. Guess what? In my language, everything that is in English, the pair, we use the opposite. So if it's natural for you to say day and night, in my language, it will be day and night and day.
Mhm.
So from small to old, or white and black, that we will say. And we will say women and man. We don't say men and women, we say woman and man. So I guess in my culture, women are more important.
I don't know.
Anyway, this is the way we pay attention to the so that it's natural. So we try to use the grammar and the rules of the target language, the
Mhm.
language where we're translating to. Okay. So yeah, I probably will have an exercise in the end.
And then acceptable. How is
And
that? That's different from
yeah, the last principle that we follow is that it will be acceptable. You know, I have a really good example. Let me show you. I just tried to get it ready. Here it is. So in the book of Song of Songs, I'll show you here. In the book of Song of Songs, we will see that Song of Songs, chapter 8, it says, the literal translation close to Hebrew NABS translation. We have a little sister and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister on the day when she is spoken for? If she's a wall, we will build on her a battlement of silver. But if she is a door, we will barricade her with planks of cedar. So here it is. It's a just Hebrew text, but there's so much thing behind of it that we call a cultural knowledge. So people, the audience, the first-hand audience, they had so much common in culture they could understand what it was going on there. Nowadays, when we read, like
It sounds
My-
like some idiomatic expressions got
my-
translated word for word in
my
there.
sister is a wall, my sister is a door. What does that mean? Right?
Mhm.
Okay, some translators try to interpret it. So NLT interpretation. We have a little sister, too young to have breasts. What will we do for our sister if someone asks to marry her? If she's a virgin like a wall, we will protect her with a silver tower. But if she's a promiscuous, like a swinging door, we will block her door with a cedar bar. That is not acceptable in my
That
culture.
would not be acceptable. You wouldn't a promiscuous girl, you wouldn't say that she was promiscuous and then give her to marriage.
No,
You wouldn't say
no.
it.
No brother, like no brother. I don't know if is it acceptable in America? Is it okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can do it in America.
You can say, oh, I don't know if my sister is a
Yes.
virgin or not.
Yes.
It's unacceptable even to think that a brother will be saying, like, I don't know, you take my sister, find out if she's virgin or not. And I really believe that in ancient Israel also it was not acceptable. So we will never give this interpretation. Why not? Because in our culture is not acceptable. Secondly, I don't think that it's accurate
Right.
because
Yeah.
we need to take into consideration the culture of ancient Israel. What is the culture? Like, if somebody is not virgin, stone her. What happened? She needs to be stoned.
Right. And if you
Or
did,
if somebody did against her, that person need to be brought to the court, right?
right, you wouldn't call her promiscuous, if you were at the point of marrying her. You
And
wouldn't
the
say it.
brothers will not offer. They will be ashamed, like Saul, like what is that? What Absalom, David's son. He wanted to take revenge. Who did it? So right. So, but what is the tricky part of it? The tricky part of it, like, okay, we will build her a battlement of silver and planks of cedar. What we need to make clear that it's the culture where they give dowries. So all they're saying, you know what, if our sister is just like plain like a wall, she's not beautiful, we will add silver. Don't be afraid. Or if we say, let me just stop this one and okay, or if they say like, all right, but if our sister is plain, like it just a door, plain, we will put a cedar planks. So because cedar considered to be the most expensive wood at
So,
that time.
in other words, the door and the wall, it's like Hebrew poetry. They're saying the same idea twice.
The same idea twice. So the right
Couplet.
couplet, yes. So the same idea repeated twice, that don't worry, if we have a sister, she did not develop the way you want, she's not pleasant to your eyes, we will add a good dowry. You will be pleased. That will be acceptable interpretation for our language, for our community. So therefore, instead of going on if she's virgin or promiscuous, all we need is just to say like, we will build silver or expensive cedar. We will put expensive cedar so that the reader already understands, oh yeah, oh, they're offering good money for her. So so this is the way. These are the how to say, I try to give a short, very short glimpse into the work we do, what things we pay attention, what we need to go through when we do the translation. And as I promised before, I have in my heart to make another video about the whole book of Song of Songs. It's a beautiful, amazing book.
Maybe a video series for that one. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, because it will not be enough one video. And also just pray for us. And we really, really value your prayers and your we appreciate your all prayers, your support. The next thing after that I would like to do about the book of Ecclesiastes. It's very close to the final checking, and it is not a depressive book. It's a book, actually, it's a beautiful book. It actually really reviving book. So that is another video I would like to do. And I believe we together want to express our love and appreciation to all your support. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
You help us to do, together with you, we're doing something great that will stand for eternity, will bring fruits for eternity. So let's put more effort. And you know what, by the way, if you will like this video, you share this video, and if you put your questions in the comment section, your questions, or maybe you have something else, or
Insights,
maybe your insight, or you want to argue or debate about something, please, we will appreciate that. So, and this is the end of our video for today.
All right. Yeah, that's the end. Great.